Support Name Explain on Patreon for ad-free videos, exclusive podcasts and blog posts, and to help choose what names get explained. Click the link in the description. The United States of America has in recent years garnered a bit of a divisive reputation for itself. However, one thing we can all seemingly agree upon with the nation is that its natural sights truly are incredible to behold. Seriously, every time I see a natural scene from the United States, my jaw drops. How can one nation have such a wonderful variety of dramatic, breathtaking scenery? In example, this is a lake here in England, and this is a lake over in the United States. Luckily, the USA has realized just how incredible their natural sights are and set up the national parks. National parks are huge swaths of land that have been placed under protection due to their natural beauty. Author of Exploring Our National Parks, Deverell Butcher described them as areas essentially in their primeval condition and so astoundingly superior in beauty to average examples of their several types as to demand preservation, intact and in their entirety for the enjoyment, education and inspiration for all people for all time. National parks came to be in the 19th century in an attempt to preserve the nation's natural beauty as the states grew and grew. It was in this time that more Americans grew to appreciate the land's wilderness and wildlife as the rest of the nation became more urbanized and industrial. Yellowstone was the first national park, designated one in 1872, and from there more parts of the nation became these parks so many can enjoy the nation's natural beauty. It's not only national parks the states has, however, there are also national forests. These are somewhat similar, but there's a difference between them. National parks are meant to be untouched and preserved in all their glory. National forests are managed by humans for a variety of reasons, including for timber, fishing, recreation, and more, though they are still protected and managed in a sensible manner. And while these national parks and national forests are undoubtedly beautiful, what isn't always as beautiful is their names. There are some parks and forests in the nation with some pretty odd names. A very popular park is Yosemite in California. The name, however, means things along the lines of those who kill, as their name was first the name used to describe a rather vicious native tribe in the land. There's also oddly named ones like Sleeping Bear Dunes and Great Egg Harbor, and while these are odd names that could be looked into in their own right, today we're looking into the name of just one national forest, that being the Tonto National Forest in Arizona. This forest really is a sight to behold too. It's almost 3 million acres in size, meaning it's the largest national forest in Arizona and the 7th largest national forest across the entire United States. The land is home to 400 different species of invertebrate, with 21 of those being either threatened or endangered species. It is truly a spectacular sight, especially when compared to what we consider a forest here in the UK. No offense to our UK nature, it's wonderful, just not as big or dramatic. Anyway, at first you might think that the name Tonto has something of a Native American charm to it, and that's probably because for a lot of people the name Tonto isn't linked to a forest in Arizona, but instead is linked to the Lone Ranger's trusted Native American companion Tonto. However, do not be fooled, as Tonto Forest is a really dumb name. It's quite literally a dumb name. The Spanish speaking viewers of this video will know quite well that this name is particularly dumb, as the word in Spanish literally means dumb. Okay, so maybe it means a little more than just dumb. I read the word tonto in Spanish can be used in a variety of ways. It can be used as a noun and as an adjective. As a noun, it translates into meaning fool/idiot, while as an adjective, it translates into meaning silly, or the aforementioned dumb. This means that the name Tonto National Forest can be translated into literally meaning dumb national forest. Like I said, it is quite literally a dumb name, and this isn't the only thing to be called Tonto in the surrounding area. There's also the Tonto National Monument and Tonto Creek, meaning these further names could mean things like Silly National Monument and Fall Creek. So why has this dumb word been applied to this forest and the surrounding land? Well, as I mentioned, the name Tonto is also the name of the Native American in the Lone Ranger, and while it might be known as the name of one fictional Native American, it is also the name for an entire, very much real, tribe of Native Americans too. The Tonto Apache are a small tribe of natives. One source said that the total population of the Tonto Apache reservation is just 140, and their reservation is the smallest in Arizona. However, it seems they are best known for their baskets and beadwork firework, which they sell on the reservation. However, another revenue source for the tribe is the Mazatel Casino, which opened in 1994. Not only does it support the tribe, but it's one of the main employees of the nearby town of Payson. The whole Native American casino thing, however, is a story for another time. So, if the forest is named after these guys, then why are they named dumb? Well, as mentioned, Tonto is the Spanish word for dumb, so logically you may just presume that this was a name given to them by Spanish explorers of the United States, and it would be understandable as to why you may think that would be the case. The Spanish treated the natives of the Americas in a horrendous fashion, some of the worst atrocities to fellow humans that I've ever read about. Just read them for yourself to get a better understanding. Due to this awful treatment of the natives, thinking that the Spanish called a tribe of them dumb doesn't seem too far out the equation. However, the Spanish gave them the name of Tonto not out of spite or due to being awful in any way. They were simply translating an already established name for the tribe into their native tongue of Spanish. It might sound surprising, but they were actually being called dumb before the Spanish arrived. Well, they were kind of being called dumb. This obviously isn't a name applied to the tribe themselves. It would have to be a pretty neurotic tribe of natives to call themselves dumb. Wikipedia lists the name Tonto Apache as one they use for themselves, with Wiktionary saying that this word means people with high-pitched voices. Why they would be called that, however, I'm not too sure. This name was also used for and by other Western Apache tribes too. Another name they are known as is the Covenant, which means wild, rough people. However, the name for them we are most interested in is Bini Adin. This was a name used by other nearby tribes, the Chiricahua tribes. This name is seen as having a multitude of meanings. It's thought to mean things such as wild, crazy, and those you don't understand. However, it's also thought to mean people without minds and brainless people, which are both ideas a bit more linked to them being called dumb. But why did others see the Tonto as being brainless or without minds? Well, we once again have a few ideas, one of those being because of where they lived. Their land was seen as being dangerous and somewhat uninhabitable. It was thought that people would have to be pretty brainless to live somewhere so harsh. Another idea is due to the fact they spoke a different language to the surrounding natives, and because they were so unintelligible to other people, they were seen as being wild, crazy, and pretty brainless too. Slight tangent, but this reminds me of the etymology of barbarian. It comes from the ancient Greek balabalos, which means blabberer, and was first applied to Greeks to those from non-Greek speaking places, because to the Greek the language they spoke sounded like little more than unintelligible blah blah sounds. This idea also ties in closely with the idea that Bini Adin means those you don't understand, as I mentioned earlier. Though the other idea as to why they had been called mindless was due to the fact they lived in such close proximity to white people. It's safe to say that natives weren't fans of the new settlers in their land, and thought it pretty unwise to have anything to do with any of them, let alone live so close to them. So the Tonto, as they would go on to be called, was seen as being pretty brainless, wild, and crazy to live so close to them. Whichever way the Tonto came to be known as brainless / without mind doesn't particularly matter, I suppose. What we seem to be sure about is that by the time the Spanish arrived in the land and started interacting with various tribes, they were told of a tribe that were being called brainless, without minds, and even crazy. All of these concepts for names for the tribe could be neatly translated into the single Spanish word of Tonto, meaning dumb, among other things. While we link the word dumb with just being of low wit and intelligence, it doesn't seem like it was their intelligence that was being questioned as dumb in the first place when the Chiricahua called them Bini Adin. More their way of living was being considered wild and mindless. It was never really meant to be a name that took a shot at their intelligence. However, clearly the Spanish equated this name, meaning a variety of things like crazy, wild, as well as brainless / without a mind, as being plain old dumb. So their word for dumb got applied to the people, leading them to have the name of Tonto Apache. And once European settlers had stuck this somewhat demeaning name of Tonto onto the people, it was inevitable that they would demean the land and forest they lived in too. This land has been inhabited for thousands of years by various tribes, being colonized first by the Hohokam people, though as the years went on, droughts and floods affected the land and many tribes left the area. Of course, tribes did still live in the land, and it was in the 19th century that the US started to show interest in the forest. Its many natural resources, including precious minerals in the earth, were too valuable to resist. This led led to a period of roughly 20 years between 1866 and 1886 in which the US Army removed a large amount of the natives from the forest. Of course, not all were removed, but with a majority of natives gone, the land was repopulated with miners and farmers, all benefiting from the untouched land and its natural resources. While these actions from the USA couldn't be undone, it was in 1905 that the government realized how precious this land was when in its natural state. It was in this year that it was officially set up as a national forest, and by this point the name Tonto was well and truly established, not only for the name of the tribe, but the name of the forest as a whole. So as an official national forest, it was christened with the name Tonto, and that's how this incredibly beautiful part of the world ended up with a name that is quite literally dumb. Tonto National Forest was suggested by Agma Schwa, and thanks to their suggestion, they will now be honoured as Name Explained's patron saint of Tonto National Forest. Do you have a good idea for somewhere that's name could be covered in a Name Explained video? If so, then please consider donating on Patreon. Just $1 a month helps keep the channel running and earns you a weekly chance to suggest somewhere to be turned into a video, and you too could be a Name Explained Patreon saint. Thank you to all my patrons who support Name Explain on a monthly basis. Patreon is vital to Name Explain, and donating just $2 a month allows you to enjoy ad-free videos and bonus Patreon exclusive content. It also allows you to help choose what names get explained in upcoming videos, and gets your name here with all these awesome people. Thank you so much for all the support you guys give Name Explain. Hello all, and thank you so much for reaching the end of the video. Check out another video and subscribe to stay in the loop on all things Name Explain. You can find me on Twitter where I'm at NameExplainYT. On Instagram I'm also NameExplainYT, and on Facebook just search Name Explain. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and once again, thank you all so much.